Well, hey there. Hi, everybody.
Whoa. What do we got?
Go ahead and mute your
Is
mic.
it me?
Yeah, just mute yours.
Bigger this year than it was last year as far
Yeah.
as the fandom. But within the last 10 years, the growth in like football fandom and stuff like that, and then with the Taylor Swift thing, and now even more people are watching football. So I don't know. I think it's a wonderful time of year.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. It's been amazing to be outside. I actually sat outside and thought, wow, I really enjoy being outside.
I had that thought the other day too. I was like walking. I was coming home, and usually it's still ass hot. And I got home and there was like a breeze, and I was like, holy shit. The one thing that I always associate with football is fall, and so when I see football start, I know that fall is coming, and I know that basketball starts soon, and so it's a very good time for me.
Yeah.
Plus, you got Halloween, which is one of my favorites. Then you got Thanksgiving, which is absolutely my favorite, and then Christmas, which is whatever it is. I would imagine you're a big Christmas person though, with all those kids, huh?
I like Christmas, but no, I'm a big Halloween. I like Halloween.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like the September, October lead up to Halloween.
Yeah. I like when they start putting the Halloween stuff out in May. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
When the leaves start turning, when they hit the ground and catch on fire.
No, I definitely like Halloween. I don't know,
Yeah.
It's an enjoyable holiday, I guess.
Yeah.
I know most holidays are just ways to get people to sell you stuff, but that's just the one holiday that I appreciate. All the not very many holidays get movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't just see a whole bunch of Easter movies or a whole bunch of Memorial Day movies. But
Arbor Day.
But you got the big three. You've got the Thanksgiving movies, you've got the Halloween stuff, and then you've got the Christmas stuff.
Yeah.
And that's this time of year. So I just feel like it's.
I'm not sure how the Hallmark Channel will exist without Christmas movies.
Yeah, Christmas in July.
They do a lot.
It's just actually my wife's grandpa before he passed. He used to watch Christmas in July every.
Oh yeah.
He loved all the Hallmark. He was just watching. I don't know if he just liked the cheesy movies or if he just liked the feel goodness of it.
There's something to that though. Turning one of those on and you can just passively watch it, and it doesn't make you think, oh my God, that guy's killing that other guy or whatever. All right, so we are season 6, episode 14, or in the year of our Lord 6ABE08 of Mice and Little Green Men from April 7th, 2000 and dos.
2002.
Yeah.
We're moving along with the show now because the show ended in 2009, so yeah, we're getting there.
So we start this sucker with no bell, no yell. We start in the alleyway. We hear the birds chirping and stuff, and Hank gets a little look on his face, and he says, I heard a funny joke the other day. It seems a doctor, a lawyer, and a gentleman from Oklahoma. And then Bill busts in and says, I told you that joke. I want to tell it. Dale, you'll just ruin it. Let Hank tell it. It's my joke. I'm going to tell it. There was a doctor, and then bam, he gets hit in the head with a big red rubber ball. Bill goes down. I mean, he's like, it's like, down goes Frazier kind of thing. He just hits the floor. And nobody really reacts to it. They just see, oh, Bill got hit by something again. He falls down. Hank picks the ball up, and he's like, whoa, what the heck kind of ball is this? And then Joseph comes up with his lacrosse net, and he's like, oh, sorry, I'm trying out for the lacrosse team. And then you've got Dale saying, my son, the jock, with me and your mother as parents. I don't know how you got so athletic. You hear the car radio playing, and we see John Redcorn backing out. He is listening to Rat. That's 2 T's with your Rat. 2 T's.
Is that a show band or is that an actual band?
No, it was an actual band. Yeah, Rat. They had Round and Round and a couple other songs.
Was it like post-pop funk or something?
Nah, they were hair metal.
Hair metal.
Yeah,
I think that I'm very diverse in my music taste. Really super diverse. I listen to international music.
Yeah.
I listen to music in languages I don't understand.
Mhm.
But the one type of music that I could never feel is like a lot of electronic made
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
And then hair metal.
Well, I
The
grew up.
only good thing, like I always say, the only good thing that ever come out of hair metal was Pantera. After that, that's the only redeeming quality.
I grew up a big Van Halen fan, so I mean that was. And Van Halen, I don't know that I'd necessarily call them a hair band. My wife is
I wouldn't
convinced
really
they
call them
are,
hair
but
metal because of the Eddie Van
Poison
Halen.
is hair metal. You know, Poison is hair metal. White Snake, Warrant, those guys, they're hair metal.
That's hair metal to me.
Yeah.
Because it all sounds the same. And
Yeah.
You could have interchanged.
Very
any
formulaic.
of the singers. Like you could have just pulled anybody from any of those bands and moved them around.
Yeah.
And they would have been pretty much the same. Motley Crue,
I don't think of as a hair metal band until later in the years. Like Dr. Feelgood is about the time I think of Motley Crue as hair metal.
Yeah.
Because
I think they're in the league of their own too. Like I said, like you said, Van Halen, it can't really be hair metal, even if they had some of the similar characteristics because of the pure instrumentation from Eddie
when
Van
they
Halen on the guitar.
when they first came out,
That's
I
not
mean,
hair
you get
metal.
that Women and Children First album. That is not hair metal. That's just straight up rock. I mean,
Yeah,
it's good stuff. Okay, so Dale looks over. He waves at John Redcorn. Hey, John Redcorn. Well, okay, son, just be more careful where you're aiming. If Bill wasn't standing there, you would have hit Hank's truck. So he's more worried about Hank's truck than he is hitting Bill in the head.
Well, yeah, I imagine it would be because
It's probably a harder surface though, hitting Bill.
it's probably not only a harder surface, it's probably less bullshit to deal with.
It's probably true.
Hank's truck, I got to deal with Hank having a real. I think Hank has like some autistic traits.
Mm-hmm.
I think he might be on the spectrum a little bit.
Oh, I think you're right about that.
And I think that's what it is he would rather hit Bill, who might be okay with just getting hit, than actually having to deal with Hank having like a meltdown in Walmart, over the toy aisle.
Well, what does happen is we go to the Hills house at night, and Bill is sitting there with them at the dinner table. He has 2 black eyes and a big old bandage over his nose where he just got smacked right in the face. He's sitting down for supper with them, and he says, I just want to thank y'all again for having me over tonight. Bill, anytime you have a mild concussion, you are welcome at this dinner table. That is.
Oh, yeah.
But with Bill, that could be very often.
Yeah, that's something I forgot to mention. So, I don't know if this is intentional. I'm pretty sure it probably is intentional from the writers of the show.
Yeah.
So lacrosse is actually a Native American sport. I don't know how. I don't know the history of lacrosse. I'm not going to act like I know anything about lacrosse. But the only thing I know is it's a basket it's like a pole with a basket on it, and they throw the ball around. I've watched lacrosse.
Yeah.
Like I said, one of the things that one of my little things that I do or whatever is I like to watch weird sports,
Right.
or just like I'll watch like Japanese basketball,
Yeah,
or
sure.
something like that, just
Sure.
to see different stuff. And I've seen lacrosse, but I don't really know anything about it. But I think that's if they did add it in there, that's a cool little biological ancestry reference for him to be playing lacrosse.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, so we get Bill sitting there with a mild concussion. Bobby says, "Mom, would you pass the taters, please?" He says it in a real country accent, and then Hank's like, "What did I tell you about funny voices at the dinner table?"
I think it's funny that he calls him doing a southern accent.
Yeah, it's a funny voice. Peggy pipes in and says, "Hank, he is in character. The Arlen Public Library presents Mice and Men next Friday and Saturday only." Of course, you would know that if you read my What's Happening corner of the refrigerator. So she uses the damn refrigerator as.
I was kind of blessed as a kid. Like, my dad did have like a little bit of that toxic masculinity, but I used to do weird voices and make a lot of weird sounds and stuff like that. And he would never say anything. He would nod, or he would do like the old head shake thing, but he would never like, "Oh, well, what are you doing? Quit being weird." He would always just kind of shake his head instead.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is nice that he just kind of let you do it. I mean, he never really got in the way, I would think, right?
Well, I've had friends. There's friends I have that their dad would not, respond in the same way.
Yeah.
Like I've been at friends' houses and I've been too chatty, and My friends been like, "Yeah, man, you gotta stop talking to my dad so much when you're over here. Just like, don't talk to him."
I was, an only child, still am. But
I would hope so. At this point, it would be a surprise. That would be
it would be quite a surprise.
That'd be a shock.
But
Randy, baby boy.
that just
Good, Mike.
that's right. That just meant that I was doing a lot of shit by myself. So
Yeah.
that's what I did. But I had a good childhood. I can't gripe about it too much. She says, by the way, she has a what's happening corner of her refrigerator where she posts notices and stuff. We plugged in a cable. Should be good now. Sorry about that.
Hold
guys.
on. You've got a comment.
Yeah, it was C&K.
Yeah,
Said Rusty sound is way better now.
Yeah,
I screwed up. Didn't plug in a cable. We'll fix it whenever we put this thing out. We're just doing a live right now. She says, "What's happening?" Corner of the refrigerator. Bobby says, "I'm one of the two leads. Plays about a hard-working regular Joe and his slow-witted friend." Hank looks at Bill and goes, "Yeah, I know a little bit about that." Bobby says, "Perfect. Maybe after dinner we can rehearse together. I've been looking for a vehicle for the two of us." Hank says, "I'm kind of busy after dinner with dessert and all. Why don't you ask your mother to help? She's good at that kind of creative stuff." I love the fact that it's just creative stuff, quote unquote.
Oh yeah.
Peggy is picking her teeth when she opens her mouth to say, "Actually, I'm great at it. I played the lead in my high school production of Grease, Danny Zuko." Why is she playing the male lead in Grease?
She's got a strong jaw and
the big feet.
She's probably the only one that can fit in the shoes for Danny Zuko.
Hank says, "There you go, Bobby. Your mom's a substitute actor too." Bobby looks super sad. Peggy looks at him and says,
substitute actor? What does that even mean?
Well, like instead of a substitute teacher, she's a substitute actor.
Isn't they called an understudy?
Yeah, I think so. But Hank's not going to know that.
Hank doesn't know that.
She says,
what does Hank know?
She looks at Bobby's sad face and she's like, "I'd love to, but what I really want to do is direct. Break a leg, Hank." And then she just like leaves the room. Bobby says, "Great. I'm George. You'll be Lenny. You want me to tell you about the rabbits?" And then Bill, who's been sitting there all along, who we forget is even sitting there, looks at his plate and goes, "Is that what I'm eating? Rabbits? Because I can't taste a thing with this broken nose." And he holds his plate up to his face. Peggy says, "It's macaroni and cheese, Bill." He goes, "Oh, bam." And then in comes that ball and hits him in the head again there at the table. He goes, "Hot rabbits." And he just falls down. I don't know why Joseph is so crazy with his ball, but Hank walks out with the ball. He's going to give it to Joseph. He says, "Joseph, you got to be more careful with that thing." He goes, "It wasn't me. It was my dad did it." Dale is hiding in a bush next to Joseph. He comes up out of the bush and says, "Thanks a lot, son. You should try out for the gymnastics teams. You're pretty good at rolling over."
That's good.
"I'm in over my head, Hank. I ran out of advice after I told him to hold the stick like a giant cigarette." Hank throws the ball back to Joseph. Joseph catches it. He then throws the ball. Joseph throws the ball at his dad. "Heads up, Dad." And Dale's just like avoids it. And Hank catches it. He goes, "Good hands, Mr. Hill." And then Hank kind of getting into this because Hank's a sports guy. "So what do? You just flick it?" And then he throws it and he's like, "Oh, it's all about the follow through." And then Bobby back inside, sitting by the now giant broken glass door where the ball came through and hit Bill in the face, looks at Peggy and says, "Well, so much for rehearsing my play with my dad," because Hank's out there throwing the ball around with Joseph now. She says, "No, honey, I'm sure your father will be back any minute." And by the way, she's wrapping up the leftovers in colored saran wrap on the plates. Your mom ever do that? Just put the saran wrap right over the plate and then stick it in the fridge?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a variation of that.
She takes the plate that's still got food on it. She puts the saran wrap on it, and then she turns it upside down to make sure the saran wrap's holding.
Usually foil.
Yeah, that's what I would think, foil.
My mom was big on foil, and then I used to ask her why foil and not saran wrap, and she says because foil has thermo capabilities.
Well, not only that, saran wrap's a pain in the ass is what it is.
Saran wrap is a pain in the ass.
I've just never liked that stuff. I don't think it's good. I don't think it holds. I don't like it. I don't know who fooled all these ladies into thinking that saran wrap was good.
Yeah, their wrap's not very good.
So she says he probably went to the hardware store to fix the window, so we won't be murdered in our sleep. I mean, she says it so casually, so we won't be murdered in our sleep. Bobby overhears outside Joseph and Hank still playing catch. Bobby comes out and goes, "What are you guys doing? Catching butterflies?" Hank says, "Sorry, Joseph, I got to go play make-believe with Bobby." I mean, that's really reductive of him, but
not only is it reductive, it's also pretty like deconstructive for their relationship and stuff. It's crazy to tell your kid who is interested in other things and that's the thing that I mean, it's one of those dichotomies in Texas too that they kind of where you get a kid who has zero. I had a buddy that was like this. It was one of my close friends where they have zero interest in sports.
Yeah.
But because they have any remote bit of athleticism, they're kind of pushed to be in sports.
Yeah.
Like Johnny Manziel's all kind of like a perfect example of that. He said by the end of it, he said, I didn't know who I was playing football for anymore. He said, he said, I liked baseball. He said, once I got to the end of baseball, I was burnt out.
Yeah.
He said, that's kind of what happened with football. I was as good as I could be and did as much as I could do. And like that burnout gets real and kids just like parents, please quit, trying to live vicariously through your kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let
you
your
see
kid
that a lot
be
in
weird.
baseball around here.
We wouldn't have Saturday Night Live or any of these we wouldn't have Dave Chappelle if some parent didn't say, hey kid, go be weird in the world.
Yeah.
Did you see that about Saturday Night Live, that thing they're making?
The movie?
Yeah. I went and watched Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Wait, I won't say it a third time. We don't want him messing up the show.
Sure.
No, we went and watched that. It was, hey man, it was.
Oh, they said it was very good.
It was. I guess I wasn't shocked because it's all the same people. Danny Elfman's music was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ruin it or anything.
No, please
I'm not gonna spoil anything. Music was amazing. They still had some of the weird animation, like the sandworm animation or whatever.
Yeah.
They still had some of that same, like Tim Burton style claymation stuff.
My
So,
stepson
it was really good.
My stepson and my daughter-in-law took the grandkid to see it, and they said it was fantastic.
We
they came through just saying it was funny as hell. So they really enjoyed it.
It was really good. I think I personally think the beginning was just a little bit slow for me.
Yeah.
So I was kind of nodding.
Yeah, sure.
But once the action kind of picked up, it got pretty good. It was really funny. I'm really surprised. Hats off to Keaton or whatever, Michael Keaton, to be that age.
Oh yeah,
I forgot he was 71.
Oh yeah,
and I'm seeing him, walking around like Beetlejuice does, like all weird and stuff. And
He's
I'm like,
been around for a
that's
while.
a 70-year-old man doing that. He's out there.
He's doing a good job. He
did a great job.
So Hank says, I got to go play make believe with Bobby, and then Joseph says, thanks for the tips. Maybe I can try them out with my dad. And then it goes over to Dale. He's sitting on the ground flicking a lighter. Like a Zippo, and he goes, whoa, wait a minute, Hank. I noticed when you threw the ball to Joseph that it went to Joseph. Seems to me that it would be good for him to practice with a man who can do that. At least he knows his limitations, I guess. He can't even get the ball to Joseph by throwing it. Hank says, yeah, I suppose it would, but I'm supposed to rehearse with Bobby. And hey, Dale, you always go to that dinner theater with your gun club buddies every Wednesday night. So you think you could give Bobby some pointers on acting?
Isn't it kind of funny that a bunch of gun club guys
guys. He goes, could I? Yes. Will I? Yes. I don't know why you say that. Hank says, Bobby, good news. It turns out that Mr. Gribble is one of Arlen's great acting rehearsers, and he's willing to work with you. Bobby, of course, still disappointed. He's like, oh, okay. Dale's talking to Bobby now. He's like, so we're doing a Mice and Men, huh? I saw the dinner version of theater. I saw the dinner theater version of it. The roast beef was fantastic. He didn't care about the play.
No, he didn't watch it.
Now we're back with.
Isn't that John Steinbeck?
Yeah.
Isn't that about of Mice and Men?
It's the guy at the end. He has to pop him in the head.
Yeah,
while he's petting the rabbit. Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking Dust Bowl, but that's the Grapes of Wrath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're inside and we see the fridge, and Peggy has those little words that you move around, to make poems or whatever.
Yeah.
And she has one that she rearranges it, and it says, and she says this: warm, bulging rain sails languidly tomorrow. And then she looks at it and she goes, ooh, that's a keeper. And then she puts tape over it to keep the words together, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Now we've got Bobby and Dale in the living room. Bobby's saying, that's right. It's going to be nice there. Ain't going to be no trouble, no fights. Nobody's ever going to hurt nobody or steal from them. It's going to be nice. Looks over at Dale. Got a single tear rolling down his face. He goes, bravo, Bobby, bravo. That's the best performance since Michael Caine's ether huffing abortionist in the cider house rules.
What a specific reference.
He's a movie buff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's
to do the reference.
he's a Michael
you
Caine
know,
buff.
if you say the words "my cocaine," it sounds like you're saying Michael Caine with his accent.
Sure.
My cocaine.
Michael Caine.
My cocaine.
Peggy comes in and goes, Bobby, I thought your father was going to rehearse with you. Bobby says, it's okay. Mr. Gribble's an excellent acting coach. He's showing me how to channel my disappointment in dad into great art. Holy crap.
Well, you
Bobby
know
says
what?
another
it's
one of
kind
these
relatable,
things.
though. He can kind of relate to him in that
Oh,
sense
sure.
of being disappointed in his dad because he has troubles with his
That's all Hank had.
His dad being gay.
Hank was just super disappointed in everything. But yeah, both sides. They could definitely use that. But Bobby says something like that to Hank in a bit. The doorbell rings. Peggy goes and answers it. It's Joseph with his net stick, whatever you call those in
the net stick. Let's just look up what it's
stick
called.
Net. He goes, hey, dude. I mean, Mrs. Hill. She goes, Dale, your son is here for you. Actually, I came to see Mr. Hill.
Actually, the name of lacrosse probably comes from the name of the stick. It's called cross.
I don't know the difference between lacrosse and field hockey.
Field hockey is
they use hockey sticks.
Field hockey is they use like a shillelagh kind of looking thing.
Shillelagh.
That's what it looks like to me. It's not like an actual it's not like an ice hockey stick.
Yeah. It's more of like a bat, but it's curved like a hockey stick.
Yeah, it's kind of curved. That's why I said like a shillelagh because the shillelagh's got that little hook on the end.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what it is. It's like a candy cane kind of.
Yeah.
It's got like a little candy cane hook.
You can stop that motion right now. That's good. I don't need that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, but it's got like a candy cane hook.
Hank comes to the door and he's like, oh, tryouts are coming up, so I made you a lacrosse goal. I used Bobby's stuffed animal hammock and the guardrail from his bed. So number one, Bobby has a hammock full of stuffed animals. Number two, he's got a guardrail on his bed.
Yeah.
Kid's 12.
Well,
Does he fall out of bed a lot?
I'm not really sure, but I had problems with sleepwalking. I could have benefited from a guardrail when I was 12. I don't sleepwalk now as an adult, but when I was young, when I was a kid, I would sleepwalk. There was one time where it was like I remember it because they woke me up. You're not really supposed to wake people up when they're sleepwalking.
Right.
You're supposed to just let them go back to bed and then wake them up and let them know what they were doing.
Sure.
But I was woke up while I was sleepwalking. What it was is I think it was like 2 or 3 days before my birthday, and I went into the living room while asleep and like sat down on the couch and started asking about birthday presents and like it's my birthday. And my dad woke me up and he was like, he didn't know that I was asleep at first, and he was just thought I was trying to be funny or something.
Yeah.
And then he woke me up, and I don't know. It was a weird experience being woke up when you went to sleep in your bed and now you're sitting up in the living room.
Yeah, I don't think I ever sleptwalk. But I was just up all the time. Like I just don't sleep a lot.
Yeah, I don't.
Like 6 hours. 6 hours is tops for me, pretty much. Unless I'm sick, and then I'll sleep for 100 hours.
6 is a good night. It's usually like 4 for me.
Yeah.
And
well, you got babies too.
I've been watching. Well, not even that. My kids sleep amazing though. My kids. That's one thing I've been blessed with, and I hope I continue to be blessed with.
Yeah.
Is my oldest, when he was a baby, he would go to bed from like 6 to 7. It'd be from like 6 p to like 7 a, and then the new one.
The
newest of the two. The
one that still smells good.
Yeah, he will sleep. Well, not so much anymore.
Gotcha.
He's like toddler. He's a toddler.
Yeah, he's covered in crap all the time.
Getting his head and hands and everything.
Sure.
He will sleep as long as there's somebody to sleep next to.
Yeah.
So
I get that.
if he's snuggling with somebody, like if my older son comes in and jumps into bed or something, lays down, and like everybody gets up, and it's like Saturday morning, they're both laying in bed. He will lay there with my older son until my older son gets up. They could lay there till 10 o'clock.
But I mean, like
he just loves to sleep.
For me and my wife, I mean, we have problems sleeping when we're not together. You know, I mean, it's weird.
I don't.
You just get used.
I just
to
have
it,
problems.
You know?
I've had problems sleeping historically. Like there's not been a time I used to stay up and read books, and like I would be up to like 3 or 4 in the morning reading books because
I was always
couldn't
movies
sleep.
And stuff. You know.
Yeah, it was books or movies or TV. I used to watch a lot of urban programming because all the urban programming on Fox was at late at night. So I watched a lot of Living Color. I watched Living Single. Sorry, and I watched a lot of Martin. And then I used to watch my mom. She worked nights, so she'd get off work at like 11:30. And I used to watch a lot of Bill Maher with my mom at night.
Bill Maher.
I don't know why that's
Every
what
kid
we're
loves
watching.
good Bill Maher.
That was when he was like he's kind of got old and shifted to a little bit more, but that was when he was
now.
like far left. That's
well, I
when
mean, when I was a kid, I was watching
left.
Donahue, and I was watching Tom Schneider and all that stuff late at night. You know, I was watching
that's what I watched, all that
these
late night
stupid
stuff.
conversation shows, and
Craig Ferguson.
And I guess that's why I do this now. I don't know.
Craig Ferguson is my favorite. You know, he's coming back. He's supposed to be coming back to do another late night
That'd be
type
great.
show.
I would love that.
I hope so.
I think
I really hope he does.
I think late night in general is going through like a transition.
I think
they just said they pulled the Tonight Show back to 4 nights a week from 5. Yeah,
that's probably the first in its existence.
The first time I think it's ever happened.
Well, that's the thing is it's you've got guys that are now just yes men.
Oh sure.
Johnny Carson and
nobody's unique anymore.
Well, it's the unique factor too. I'll agree with, but like you can't be unique if you're a yes man. So like these guys have the potential because they got there by being funny, unique guys. Like Jimmy Fallon was hilarious on Saturday Night Live. I thought he was funny, but now that when he transitioned into it, he's just goofy.
Well, you look at like Letterman. You know, he was kind of punk rock for late night. And Carson was everybody wanted at the time.
He was kind of punk rock too. Carson was. He just did what he didn't. Really, they didn't play by. They didn't play by the rules too often.
He was punk rock. He just didn't know it. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing that was great about Craig Ferguson's show is even though there wasn't a lot of direction or input from David Letterman, David Letterman protected him from the studio.
Oh sure.
Like he like there was a lot of stuff that they were doing and stuff, and he would even break that fourth wall and talk shit about the studio.
Oh, absolutely.
All the time. Just like David Letterman did. Johnny Carson did the same thing.
Was always
where they would always talk shit about the studio. And the studio, how much can they really care when these guys are the reason why? Like at that point, Johnny Carson is probably the reason why NBC was able to fund Saturday Night Live.
Oh, absolutely. Carson was the reason for a lot of stuff.
He's probably the man who built 30 Rock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or built it back
he did a lot
from
of
what it was.
He did a lot of
the golden era of TV, like he was there at the very end of that original era of TV, like when he started doing it. Steve Allen and all them guys.
Absolutely.
This is a podcast about King of the Hill.
So Dale goes to Bobby and says, "Let's go, Bobby, from the top. And remember, smaller, realer. This isn't guys and dolls." All right, so now we're in the Hill house at night. Of course, we're in the bedroom with Hank and Peggy because that's a regular thing. Peggy says, "Hank, you are not Joseph's father. Dale is Joseph's father. Actually, John Redcorn is Joseph's father, but Dale doesn't know that. Point is, you're only his grandfather. You're not supposed to take over for Dale until he's gunned down by federal agents. That is the agreement."
That's funny. That's my favorite line in there. I actually posted that clip on
That's pretty good,
media.
man. Yeah, Hank says, "I'm not taking over. I'm just helping the boy make a team. If Bobby were trying out for a team, I'd help him too." Peggy says, "You know very well that's not going to happen." Hank's like, "Yeah, I know." And then they turn the lights on. It's so depressing. Now we go to the Arlen Public Library. On the sign outside, it says the Bookworm Players present Of Mice and Men. And then below that says overdue book Amnesty Week ends tomorrow. So
that's kind of funny.
Make sure you get your books back.
There's a overdue book amnesty this month at our local
library.
Yeah,
I saw that. I saw it in the paper.
Isn't that funny? Yeah. That's the episode we're on.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're in the Central Texas area and you use the McLennan County Library,
take back the old library books.
This month, they have an amnesty. So if you've lost a book, if you have an overdue book, if you have $100 worth of, like I went up there and had they told me like $140 and I don't even remember what it was for, nothing like that. It was from something from my childhood or something.
Sure.
And
little engine that could.
The little engine that didn't. But they said when I went up there, they were like, "Yeah, we'll just give you a new library card. You don't have to worry about any of that."
Yeah, I mean they got to do that every once in a while, I would imagine.
But,
all right, so we're at the library for this big presentation of Mice and Men. Director behind the curtain is 2 minutes to curtain. Take your seats, please. Can we have everybody sitting down? Thank you. And then some guy comes over by Peggy out in the audience and says, "Excuse me, is this seat free?" She goes, "No, this seat is reserved for the father of the star of the show. I'm the stage mother, Peggy Hill. Please clear the aisle." I mean, she's just like, "No, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, get out of here."
Dale's next to him. Dale and Boomhauer are both out there in the audience. And he says, "Sorry, I had to stop by the bathroom to throw up. Are you as nervous for Bobby as I am?" She goes, "Dale, if you want to make this a competition, I will win." Like throwing up? Is that the competition?
That's kind of crazy.
Dale says, "So where's your better half?" Well, he must be off dealing with a propane emergency. As a propane wife, you'd think I'd be used to it by now, but I am not.
A propane
wife. Bobby looks out.
That'd be a good shirt too.
Oh yeah,
I'm a propane
wife
Yeah.
on the weekends. It says Bobby looks out from the back of the stage, and he's very sad because he doesn't see his dad sitting next to his mom. Now we go over to the lacrosse field, and we get Nancy, go Joseph, and then Hank's right there, which it sucks because he's there even though his kid's doing something. Go Joseph, go, yeah. And then he looks at this guy next to him. He's got a hot dog half in his mouth. And he goes, that's my neighbor's boy. Like, Hank, you got a kid. Go support your kid.
Go support your kid.
Yeah, Joseph.
Not live vicariously through somebody else's illegitimate love child.
This makes Hank seem like
it's not
really
even Dale's kid. You know what I'm saying? It's not even Dale's kid.
Yeah,
he's already got enough
it's
dad
like
problems.
It's like basically just some kid that wandered up.
Yeah, he's got enough dad problems. He doesn't need you in the mix.
Joseph comes up and goes, "Where's Dad? I was hoping he'd take infrared footage of the game." Infrared footage. Nancy says, "I don't think he's gonna make it, Shug. Maybe he locked himself out or in something." Joseph gets sad. So now both kids are sad. Now we go to a place that we've never heard of, never seen before. King Kong ice cream. Big ice cream cone outside with King Kong on it. Airplanes coming around it. Which
that's actually a pretty good.
Oh, it's a great
good idea. Yeah,
but I mean, I don't think we ever hear about it again, and we've never seen it before.
Workshopping a title for that horror thing.
Oh yeah,
the Hillbilly Hell Drive-In.
Yeah, I like
that. That way you don't have to just stick with horror movies, but you can still do the Hillbilly Hell thing.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
All right, so we're in the King Kong ice cream, and Dale is walking in with Bobby. He goes, Bobby, I'm sorry, that was Hank. That wasn't Dale. Dale says, Bobby, what a great performance. Your mother and I have never been prouder of you. Bobby says, I just wish my dad had been there to see it. He would have loved it. What you were doing with your hands in the second scene, masterful. I don't know what to do with my hands in real life. That's why I smoke.
Which is that was the hardest part about stopping smoking cigarettes for me. What the hell do I do with my hands? Because when I was a kid, I always got in trouble for banging pencils or doing stuff like that. So I just that hand thing went to cigarettes.
Oh, 100%.
Cigarettes became the hand thing, and then it's like, well, now what? Because I would just awkwardly stand, and I'm like, well, what do I do with these things? Like,
well, Peggy says, I solved the hand problem back in high school when I was in Greece. I kept them in my pockets, only took them out to hand jive. Yeah, I kind of love that.
Hand jive.
They look over.
That's another Grease reference.
That's exactly right. They look over, and Hank is sitting there eating ice cream with Joseph, and they're coming in the door.
Hands.
So it's just wrong. I mean,
it's eating it like that.
Yeah, it's flipped. It's like, Dad, Bobby, Dad, Joseph. And then you hear this country music playing, and we get a really, really extended silence. And then Dale says, well, this is awkward. He looks at his hands and stuff. And he goes, mind if I smoke? So there's your callback for the hand.
Yeah, there you go. Mind if I smoke?
All right. And that is the first commercial break. We'll take that, and we will be
right back.
Right back. Yep. Now.
Pretty good.
All right, and we are back.
We are back.
We are at the King Kong ice cream. I've got there in the booth. They've got some drinks and stuff. Yeah, and it's Hank and Dale talking to each other. Yep. The play. We really stepped in it and walked around in the carpet this time. That's a hell of a phrase. We really stepped in it and walked around the carpet this time. He says, poor Joseph. He said, can you send a 13-year-old boy a bouquet of flowers? Is that appropriate? No, Dale, it's not. Hank says, well, if
it's my boy.
He goes, if the boy is my boy, you can. Now, why am I knocking Bobby? We're the ones who are having trouble with the kids communicating, the emotional whatnots. Emotional whatnots. Dale says, sometimes I ask myself why I even bother. I mean, it's not like Joseph's even my son. This catches Hank sideways because he's like, ugh. What?
He's like, what? He did like, does he know or
yeah.
what's really going on?
Because everybody
here?
knows but Dale. He's like, what? Oh, that's crazy. Why would you say something like that? Now that Joseph's hit puberty, the differences are impossible to ignore. We don't look alike. We don't have the same interests. Oh, come on. Sometimes I think the only thing Bobby and I have in common is our waist size, which is actually a pretty decent joke by him.
That is a good joke.
Dale says, true, but get this. I recently saw on the Discovery Channel that it takes 9 months to make a baby. He recently saw that on the Discovery Channel, by the way.
Wow.
That it takes 9 months to make a baby.
Yeah.
Well, 9 months before Joseph was born, me and my reproductive organs were 500 miles away in Marfa, Texas. We get a flashback to Dale out in the boonies in Marfa, waiting for those lights to come up. If you don't know anything about Marfa, Texas, it's almost like what do you call that thing in Alaska where you get the Great Northern Lights?
Oh yeah,
it's kind of like that, but they say it's like UFO lights in Marfa.
Yeah, well, I
don't know why they keep showing up.
I had a little deal for it. So Marfa lights, it's a real phenomenon or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the lights, Dale says, are swamp gas, experimental aircraft, or weather balloons, or whatever, which are all UFO glitches. But in fact, skeptics versed in the subjects claim that they're car headlights on a distant highway,
that could be
which
thing.
are distorted by local atmospheric conditions. Because of the frequency of the appearance of the lights. Either the skeptics are right, or it's just adjacent to a very busy UFO highway.
I've definitely heard that before. That it's the lights hitting.
That's what they say. They say it's the lights, and it's just like They also have the. Is it in Marfa where they have the Prada art installation?
Oh, maybe that.
I think it's in Marfa. It's like the tiniest Prada store. It's like not even really just a store. It's just the installation.
So in this flashback, we see Dale out there with a telescope with a bunch of other people, and he's got the original Dale's Dead Bug van, which is just a panel van that's spray painted on the side, kind of like in an 80s font. And it says Dale's Dead Bug van. I thought that was kind of cool. He goes, 4 years, alien spaceships have appeared in the skies above Marfa. The lunatic fringe have dismissed these so-called Marfa lights as swamp gas, experimental aircraft, or weather balloons. So I went out on a research trip to debunk these wacko theories. Nancy had a horrible headache and couldn't travel. Well, she always does. So I asked John Redcorn to stay at the house to protect her while I was gone. And then you see Nancy and Redcorn sitting there just watching TV. So freaking Dale caused this whole thing, honestly.
Yeah, Dale. Well, I wouldn't say he caused it, but he wasn't there. So
he was definitely a party to it.
He enabled.
Then we get back to real life, and he says, I thought I was being so smart, but I've never been so stupid. Hank's still thinking that John Redcorn's the father. Oh, Dale, I'm so sorry. The truth has been right in front of me all these years. Joseph's real father is. Hank says, Nancy loves you. He goes, an alien. What? The aliens knew I was getting too close to the truth.
Even Hank can't believe how
he can't
fucking stupid he is.
He goes, exactly what truth? I have no idea. He looks up to the stars, and then you get back to that van in the flashback. You see the lights over the house, Redcorn sleeping on the couch. So you're seeing both ends of it. You know, Nancy is in her bedroom. John Redcorn's protecting on the couch. Dale is still out there looking at the Marfa lights. But I was close. They had to do something to distract me. And what better way than a lifelong distraction? You see the light move in. It goes to Nancy. She starts levitating. And then a star goes inside her to impregnate her.
Yeah.
Dale, no hat, by the way, is now reading a UFO magazine. You see baby Joseph laying there on the table. He's supposed to be changing him, but he's reading this UFO magazine anyway. As nefarious schemes often do, it worked. For the past 13 years, I've been too busy raising an alleged son to construct surveillance. And then you see the baby pee on him because he didn't have a diaper on him. You're back to reality. Hank says, I really don't think Joseph is an alien child. Well, I didn't impregnate Nancy, so who did, huh? You got a better explanation? Hank's like, well, no. What other explanation could be? Yep, spaceman. Spaceman, just to get it over with. Dale's like, okay, so the reason why I don't relate to my son is that he is an extraterrestrial being. I don't know what your problem with Bobby is. I guess you're just a crappy dad. That's so shitty. And you see a sad Hank.
That's rough.
Now we're at the Hill House again. Bobby is with his scrapbook in his room. He's pasting in pictures or reviews from the Mice and Men show he did. Hank comes in the room. Bobby, I know how important that play was to you, and it was wrong of me to miss it. I wouldn't do that to a customer, and I shouldn't have done it to my son. So get used to this sound. He claps one time, just like that. He goes, because I'll be doing a lot of that at your next show. It's crazy to me that he doesn't just like, a few times.
He just does it once.
Instead, it's just,
you'll be hearing
get
a lot
ready.
of that. That'd be funny. Just randomly throughout the show, he just
one clap. Bobby appreciating it. I mean, he's like, well, that's very kind of you, but Mr. Sutter from the bank got transferred to a branch in Durndal, so we have no idiot man-child. Therefore, we have no show.
You know what my favorite thing to do is at shows and stuff like that, or like
What's that?
Clap and get the whole audience to clap at a part where it's not even necessary because everybody has a hive mind.
I like
and
to.
The second they hear a few claps, and then another person will hear it, and then it just spreads. You can hear it just spread.
I like to clap a little too long.
Oh, like to
I'll just keep clapping a little bit.
Well, that's the thing is I like to start early and get everybody clapping, and then be the last one clapping.
So Hank, hearing this news that the guy got transferred and there's no idiot man-child, says, dang it. I really wanted to see that show. He thinks he's off the hook at this point. I heard such good things from your mother. Dang it. Oh, well. Bobby says, well, if you're that good at pretending to be upset, shit, Bobby, you might be good at pretending to be a gentle giant with the mind of a 5-year-old. Bobby, I'm no actor. Yeah, but at least you could act like a dad. What the hell, man? That is deep.
That's
like 2 scenes.
deep.
Hank has been thrown under the bus twice here. Once by Dale and once by his own son.
Yeah, he hit him hard twice.
Oh, I learned that from Mr. Gribble, but I should have learned it from you. And he starts like sniffling, pretending, and he goes, oh, okay, I'll do it. So now you've got Hank agreeing to play the idiot man-child in Of Mice and Men opposite Bobby.
That's good, though.
Okay, so we're in Dale's garage.
Isn't that the guy that gets shot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're in Dale's garage. We see Joseph over there on the weight bench lifting weights. Dale comes in and goes, Joseph, I got something we really need to do. Could you stop doing that thing where you lift the weights? Instead of just saying, could you stop lifting weights? He says, could you stop doing that thing where you're lifting the weights? He goes, what do you want? This is the hardest conversation I've ever had. Maybe I should just blurt it out. No, I'll pussyfoot around. Boy, this weather sure has been. Joseph, you're an alien. He didn't even have the stamina to do that. What are you talking about? Creatures from outer space impregnated your mother. I am not your real father. Joseph says, of course you are. Just because you're a spaz at playing lacrosse, that doesn't mean. Come on. This is great news for 2 humans who get along terribly, but for 2 different species, we're doing mediocre to good.
Yeah.
Joseph says, this doesn't make any sense. You're telling me I'm from outer space like E.T.? Actually, no. He was a purebred alien and had a heart of gold. You're only half alien. At times can be a tad self-absorbed. Which just that's freaking hilarious, man.
Joseph's crazy. That dude's
he's nuts.
He needs to be committed.
Joseph, who now has gone through puberty and is getting to be a large human. Starts
big guy.
Oh, he starts towering over Dale, and he's pissed. He's like,
creepy big guy.
Oh yeah, no kidding. He goes, you missed my damn tryouts. Now you're calling me self-absorbed? Dale says, oh God, I have displeased you. Okay, I'll triple your allowance. And when your people return to wipe out the human race, maybe you can convince them to spare our lives. He starts backing out of the garage. He goes, your mother's sturdy. She can work in the mines. And me, well, I'd make an excellent pet. He slams the door and runs away. Joseph just starts kind of looking in the mirror. Now we transition over to the Hill House. Bobby, he's got 1 foot on a box, straw in his mouth, and they're practicing lines. And when we put in a crop, why, we'd be there to take that crop up. We'd know what comes of our planting. And Hank, and rabbits, you'd fill up the sack and bring it in and put it in rabbit cages. They'd nibble the way they do. I've seen them. We're really good together, Dad. Hey, let's practice our bows. He goes, you go first. Hank bows just a little tad. He goes, yeah, Dad, bravo, bravo, starts applauding. So, I mean, Bobby's at least is feeling good about this now, and Hank has decided, oh, shit, I better do something here. Now we're at Dale's house. Nancy's folding laundry, and you see her. This is the only time I've ever seen this, but she's got like a giant Manitoba cigarette towel, and she's folding it up.
Which is funny because I imagine they probably have a lot of that.
Oh, it's like the camel stuff,
It's kind of funny because after all that cigarette promotional stuff ended, my friend's mom still had like Walmart sacks full of it in like a cabinet somewhere.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
It was points that she would like. She was like saving up for something. It was points she couldn't use anymore or whatever. But it was like it was like Walmart sacks.
I mean, I've told you, I used to have a big ass jar like
Yeah,
a Tom's candy jar.
You were saying that you
full of
got the Sega Game Gear. That
Sega
way,
Game
right?
Gear. Yeah, this is ridiculous.
I actually have a Sega Game Gear. I just found. Yeah.
Did you steal it from my house? That time?
No, it was it was actually my friend's mom was like cleaning some stuff up. She's friends with my parents or whatever.
It was honestly a pretty
and she, like, gave it
revolutionary
to me.
thing, man. You
Yeah.
could plug the regular Sega cartridges into it. That was pretty badass. All right, so Joseph comes in the room and he goes, "Mom, have you got a minute? What's up, little Shug? Is Dad my real dad?" I mean, just blurts it out. You know, Nancy's like, "What? Oh, of course he is. Why would you say something like that? He's your dad. He's your dad. Okay, he's your dad. Okay." He's like, "Oh, okay." She's going, "Okay." Joseph leaves the room. Boy, she is just sweating bullets at this point. You know. Now we're in Joseph.
Because
Yeah. Everybody thinks he's getting there.
getting
Both of them
close.
are getting super close to the truth. Now we're in Joseph's room. Joseph is talking to Bobby. She was scared, Bobby. It kind of scared you only seeing an Earth woman who's given birth to a half human, half alien baby. Bobby, Joseph, you are not an alien. You're being crazy. I knew you were going to say that. Oh, no, I have ESP. What's happening to me? Dale comes in the room. He's got a giant TV he's bought him. "Greetings, your alien excellency. I brought you a brand new TV. No reason, just because. Enjoy." Backs out, close the door real quick. "He's just being nice so my real dad won't freeze him in carbonite and trade him for spice. It's not like he really wants me to be here." Bobby says, "Where are you going?" "I'm tired of being a freak. I just need to go live among my own kind. I need to go home." He stares out the window just at space, like he's just like, "I need to go see my own kind." All right, we're back at the library play. Now, Hank is in just overalls, no shirt underneath it. Got one of the little arms of the overalls hanging down.
Yep. He's exposed.
He is exposed. He is.
This is the most exposed he's been in public.
Hank's nipple is free.
Actually, I say this is the most exposed he's been in public, but we already did the tornado episode.
That's true. He was completely
where he had
naked.
a barrel of pickles hanging out.
The director is back there. Places everyone. Hank looking at Peggy. He's like, "Hold on, where's Bobby?" Peggy says, "Well, I thought he was with you." "No, I had to come early for body makeup." Body makeup. He needed body makeup.
What's that bronzer?
I guess, man. The director comes through. "Oh, no. Where am I going to find a George at this last minute?" Peggy's like, "I'll do it." I mean, she just right on it, boy. She just, "I'll do it." Because it's about her. Hank says, "Wait a minute. I was just doing this for my son. If he's not here, I resign my part." Director says, "Hank, show must go on." And this is Stephen Root doing this voice. "We have a room full of seniors from Garrity and Sons nursing home, and we may have told them this was Broadway. I don't want them to be disappointed."
Oh, wow.
The curtain opens.
They don't know where they're at all.
No.
Yeah.
The curtain opens. There's a ton of old people there. And then Dale and Boomhauer sitting in the front. Boomhauer, of course, is in his Miami Vice finest. And you just hear, and the curtain opens, and then Peggy comes out reading off of the script. "Lenny, for God's sake, don't drink so much." Hank's sweating, scared, looks out. He goes, "That's good. You drink some, George. You drink some too." She goes, "I ain't sure it's good water. Looks kind of scummy to me." That line could be better. Who wrote this crap? I mean, she's looking at Steinbeck stuff and going,
John
"Who wrote this crap?"
Steinbeck, yeah, critically acclaimed author.
All right, so they're driving home. Hank is still in the overalls.
Every middle school ever reads his books.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Peggy says, "This is not like Bobby. He was so excited about doing the play with you. Is it possible he got a better part in another play?" "Yeah, Peggy, that's exactly it. He went and did another play." Hank says, if he wanted to make his old man look like a jackass, well, he finally did something right." Damn, Hank, shit. That's a lot of little backhanded insults, you know? They pull up at home. Dale comes running out to the car. "The alien has escaped." Hank says, "What?" He goes, "Joseph, he's gone to Marfa and he's taking Bobby with him, probably as food." Hank says, "That UFO place? Oh, God." And Dale says, "Yeah, and FYI, Boomhauer said he could see your nipples on stage. Let's go."
This is one of the geographical continuity issues here.
See your nipples.
Marfa from Central Texas is a long fucking
It is
drive.
a very long way. Yep.
It's a good probably 7-hour drive, 6-hour drive, easy.
Yeah.
So Joseph and Bobby are driving.
Well, they get on a bus.
Sorry, a bus.
And a bus.
Well, a 6 to 7 hour ride is probably like 12 to 15 hours.
That's what I'm saying. You can like triple the amount if you're on a bus.
I used to take a bus to Oklahoma in the summers when I was a teenager to go hang out with a friend of mine. And first time I ever got on when I was like 15 or 16.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh man, it's only a 6-hour drive. I've driven it before, and my mom just finally got to the age where she was trusted me enough to go on a bus by myself. So, well, I mean, in England, man, at like 15, 14, you're on trains all over the country by yourself.
I would imagine. Yeah,
but
what you got.
But we got on the bus, and I'm thinking, man, this is gonna be a nice little 6-hour ride. You know, you get about 3 hours in, and you're like, later. Man, we're not even that far yet. You know, you're like,
we're in Marlin.
Yeah, you're not even that deep into the drive, and you're just like, oh, you guys stop every 10, 20 minutes.
So we saw Dale informs Hank that Boomhauer saw his nipples. They take off for Marfa, and that is our second commercial break. We'll take that, and we'll be
right back.
What he said. Hey, and we are back. All right, so we are now at the Marfa Lights viewing area where the weird lights are, where all the UFOs are. People are watching. There's a guy in an alien costume comes by drinking an Alamo. We see the boys, Bobby and Joseph, pull up. They are on like a Greyhound bus. They get off. And Joseph says, I hope my alien dad loves me more than my real dad. Damn. Whew. Bobby says, so what happens now? A flying saucer drops out of the sky. Some little green man in a tinfoil suit says bleep glop, and you say bleep blop, and then you live happily ever after. It's not going to happen. Joseph gets down and puts his ear to the ground, which is, I mean, I don't want to say that that's a Native American activity, but it kind of is. You know, that's kind of something you associate with that.
Oh, yeah.
Listening to the ground. He goes, dude, he's coming. And then we go back to Hank and Dale. They are on their way. Hank is driving the dead bug van, though. Dale's dead bug van for some reason. Which is
odd, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Hank says, why did you have to tell Joseph he was an alien? It's the truth, isn't it? Well, sometimes it's better to keep the truth from someone, especially if you know they can't deal with it. I think he's talking about you, Dale. Dale says, I felt the same way when Boomhauer told me I had bad breath. Since then, I've learned to inhale when I talk. We go back to the viewing site. Bobby is like, oh, it's getting cold. Now, I'm not saying we're wasting time because this is great people watching, but I'm about ready to go. Joseph stands and starts to leave, and he goes, how is my dad's tractor beam going to be able to lock in on me if I'm blending in with all these idiots? And he takes off running. Bobby starts running after him. Joseph, no, stupid UFOs are coming. The only lights we're going to see are the lights of an ambulance when they come pick up our cold, dead bodies off the ground. And Joseph just keeps hauling ass. Bobby, of course, is out of breath real quick and just kind of sees him still run away. Now, for some reason, Hank and Dale have stopped at the souvenir tents near Marfa. I don't know why they didn't just go straight to the viewing area.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I've never actually been and stopped in Marfa. I want to do that one time.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I bet it's just nothing but tourist trap stuff now.
It's probably that. It's probably kind of like Roswell. I've been to Roswell, and Roswell's kind of tourist trap, kind of UFO stuff everywhere. Legal weed, though.
Oh yeah,
New Mexico now has legal recreational weed, so
that's not here.
That is a redeeming quality.
So they're walking through these tents, and Dale seems to know everybody. That's Don Hood, the country's top UFO hunter. He's been abducted 3 times. That's Dick Greenroy. He's crazy. And then the guy in a lawn chair is sitting there, and he goes, excuse me, friends, would either of you be interested in purchasing some alien urine? It's like,
a half a mayonnaise jar full of piss.
But of course, Dale is like, how much? He goes, half a mayonnaise jar. Hank, you have half a mayonnaise jar? That's not what he's saying, dude. He's not saying it costs half a mayonnaise jar. He's saying he has half a mayonnaise jar full of urine.
Yeah, that's funny.
Dale takes it the wrong way. Hank says, Dale, temperature's dropping. We got to find these kids soon. And he's talking to the guy with the urine. Hey, buddy, have you seen 2 13-year-old boys? Dale says, one of them half alien. He goes, well, I saw one kid wander out into the desert with his Indian guide. He goes, oh, God. And Dale says, well, thanks anyway. And then they start walking off because Hank's worried. You know, he knows that they've been seen now. And but, of course, Dale has to double back. And he asks the guy, hey, do you take Diners Club? Like he's going to give him his Diners Club card for this half jar
for
of
a
urine.
Half jar of piss.
And he obviously buys it because the rest of the thing we see him with this half jar of piss.
Which is kind of kind of gross.
He's ridiculous. He's a ridiculous man.
You know, back to some more heartfelt shit. So this episode, I really like it because the next like scene, like that we're coming up on or whatever, it really shows that it doesn't matter. All you know, his mom, his wife did cheat on him, so I guess that does matter in the grand scheme of things.
Sure.
But being a dad is less about like biological stuff and what what kids you have, and it's more about the person that you are for those kids.
Well, I mean, I've got 3
life.
stepsons, and every one of them, I feel like we've bonded over that kind of stuff. I mean, I think I've taught them a lot. That's the
thing with me is like I had with my oldest, he has 2 older brothers, and I've never treated them. I never thought that they deserved to be treated any different than I treated him.
No.
Like, so I used to have him at Christmas and stuff like that. And I always used to make sure to have not just like dollar store gifts for them just to get them something. I used to get them actual gifts, like when they opened Christmas, they were just as excited as my kid was to
open Christmas. It makes a difference, man. It makes a difference, I mean,
that was even when I wasn't with their mom anymore. I just did it because I would like
kids just
my sister's dad.
Yeah.
Because my oldest sister, her dad, after my mom and him split up and she got my dad and had me and all that, he never once treated any of us any different than he treated my older sister. And at one point, my mom started having too many kids, but at one point when it was just me and my older sister, anything he did for her, if she got a brand new pair of shoes, I got a brand new pair of shoes. If she got new clothes, I got new clothes. He was a executive chef at a big fancy restaurant, so he could afford it.
That's the way it should be.
It was just what he felt was right. He didn't want her coming home with new stuff and me not have anything
kids
new.
when you're in their life,
Even paid for us to have cable.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
We didn't even have cable, but he paid for our cable at one point.
So Hank and Dale are out there wandering around in the desert. Bobby, Joseph, he's calling out to him. He goes, "Would you put that jar down and help me look for the kids?" Then we go over to them still looking through the desert. They got nothing but a flashlight. Dale says, I can't believe I lost Joseph. I hope his real dad doesn't eat my brain, but of course he will. Hank says, damn it, Dale, you're his real dad. He goes, no, I'm not. He goes, when Joseph was a baby, who changed his diapers? You or some alien? I did. Who took his first day at kindergarten? I did. Who taught him how to tie his shoes? John Redcorn. Well, okay, but who taught him how to ride a bike? John Redcorn. He taught Joseph, and Joseph taught me. Joseph had to teach his dad how to ride a bike.
That's funny. I like that one.
He goes, okay, but I didn't see the aliens doing that stuff. But you were there for every Christmas morning and every scraped knee. You, Dale, any alien can inject someone with his space juice and be underline that word, space juice, and be a father, but it takes a real man to be a dad. Dale looks at the urine in the jar, the lights in the sky, and then you hear this crowd because the lights are really starting to get intense now. The crowd starts to murmur, oh my God, they're here. Dale's like, oh, they're here. Oh my God, the Marfa lights. Hank looks around and he sees the boys because Joseph is standing there waiting to be beamed up while Bobby's finally caught up with him. He goes, oh, it's the boys. Bobby says, Joseph, your dad's here. He goes, oh no, I'm scared. No, your Earth dad. Oh, Dad. He turns to see Dale run into him. He goes, don't go, son. He goes, I don't want to go. And then run away from the light. Joseph, Dad, Joseph. And then he runs and jumps in Joseph's arms.
Yeah.
So Dale gets in Joseph's arms and he says, you can't have him. He's my son. Let go, let go, let go. And then the next thing we see, they're all leaving Marfa. They're in the van. And Joseph and Dale are up front. Dale's driving again. Hank and Bobby are in the back. Dad's aliens impregnated Mom. That's a given. It's a given. But isn't it possible that first they abducted you and stole your genetic material and then used that to create me? Dale says, recovered memory. That's exactly how it went down, which means you are my flesh and blood genetic son. Just like that. You changed the whole thing, And then we go to the back and Bobby and Hank are talking. He says, sorry, I missed your play, Dad. It's all right, son. I guess you had your own idiot man child to deal with, talking about Joseph. Goes, yeah, that Joseph, he's really like his dad. Hank says, yep, those Gribbles, 2 nuts on the same Sunday. And that's it. We get our credits. Now, during the credits, we do hear this. Hey, Dad, what's in the jar? Don't drink it.
Which is
Drink
a
the
rare
alien
example of a line that's used nowhere else in the episode.
It is weird. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool, though.
That font on the Buggabago
Yeah.
that you saw is called Streamster.
Okay.
If you ever want to use
Oh,
that
the one
font.
on the actual, like the old band?
old
Oh, that's cool to
Buggabago,
know.
the original Buggabago. Also, when Dale makes a comment about being a good pet for the aliens, that's a reference to a song called Pets by Porno for Pyros.
Ooh, Porno for Pyros. I liked them. They were good.
Yeah, that was a song from them. And this is the
Pyros,
first
wasn't that
episode.
one of the guys from Nirvana?
What's that?
I thought Porno for Pyros was one of the guys from Nirvana. Maybe
might have been the bass
Or
player.
no. It was the guy from Jane's Addiction. That's who it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was his second band after Jane's Addiction.
Yeah, and also this is the first episode where we really get a deeper look into Joseph's personality and how similar he is to Dale. Up until this point, he's just been the average American teenager.
Yeah.
But now that he's getting a little bit older, he's starting to be more like Dale as far as the paranoia and the UFOs, the aliens, all the.
You definitely start seeing
all the what's it called, conspiracy stuff that Dale's into.
Well, that's it, guys.
That is it.
Thank you again for joining us. Rusty, you want to tell them where they can find us?
Yeah, you can find us at BWAAA. That's 3 A's, KOTH. On all social media platforms. You can also go to TikTok.com/BWAAA, KOTH, and follow us there. I post clips and stuff there as well. And you can also find us on what's this app called that I post videos on here lately? It's a new app that was like Scoops. It was at the top of the video app.
We're on Scoops.
It's I don't think it's underneath Bwaaa though. I got to make one for Bwaaa. I think it's actually just underneath me.
Well, guys, we also have a Patreon that's $3 a month. If you could help us out with that, we'd really appreciate it. It helps keep the lights on, studio open, things like that. Next week, we will be on some better cameras. We are loaning out a lot of our stuff to high school football this week, but we'll have that all fixed on Tuesday. But thank you once again for joining us. And I guess there's just one thing to say.
We Matanye.
That was it. We Matanye indeed.
Now let's see the Michigan versus Texas score.
Bwaaa tries to fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. That drinks his brew and he spits his chew.